Hey, y'all. I've always believed that the shows that we binge and the movies we love are more than just entertainment. They're a window into who we are and who we might become. They're a place to talk about what truly matters. Welcome to Culture First, Democracy Always. I'm Tasha Pierce. Think of me as your favorite auntie who could talk about the latest sci fi flick 1 minute and then get to talking about voter suppression the next. On this podcast, we break down pop culture from the movies and TV shows you love to the books you can't put down to talk about power, talk about freedom, and talk about survival. We'll connect these stories to our current politics and the constant, everyday resistance we all face. Because culture shapes who we are, and democracy is the freedom to be that person. Culture first, democracy always. Hey, and welcome back to Culture First, Democracy Always. We are chugging right along in our classic TV Deep Dives arc, and today we're tackling the show that defined a generation's cynicism, The X-Files. This series and the episode we're focused on today, Paperclip, is the ultimate exploration of government secrets, institutional corruption, and the erosion of public trust. We've talked about external hatred in Star Trek and internal paranoia in Twilight Zone. Today we're going to talk about what happens when the paranoia is justified. What happens when you realize the people in charge actually are hiding something dangerous and they're using your taxes to do it? Today, we're talking about why the fear of a deep state is a political reality and why relentless skepticism is an act of civic duty. But we can't get there without a map, so here's our plan for today. First, we're going to look at the X-Files' core conflict and analyze the real historical projects that gave rise to the American people's trust deficit. Next, we're going to dive into the episode, Paperclip. We're going to see how systemic corruption is protected, not by a few bad people, but by the entire powerful institutional structure. Then we'll distinguish between healthy skepticism and paralyzing conspiracy theory, and there is a very thin line that separates the two. And we'll see how the system uses one to distract from the other. And finally, we'll talk about the hope that lies in the relentless pursuit of truth and why we should all channel our inner Mulder and Scully. So, now that you know where we're going, let's get to it. Part 1. The Trust Deficit. Let's start with the dynamic that makes the X-Files so timeless. The tension between Fox Mulder, the true believer who trusts nothing, and Dana Scully, the scientist who requires proof of everything. Now, they represent the two sides of our national consciousness when dealing with power. Mulder's famous mantra is, "The truth is out there." But the real political statement of the show is that the truth is being deliberately hidden from you. The show resonated so deeply in the 90s because by that time, the American public had been betrayed repeatedly by its own government. The fictional plots about shadowy men in dark rooms hiding alien bodies weren't just random fantasies. They were grounded in a real history of secrecy. Now think about the real historical projects that justified this public skepticism. The aforementioned Tuskegee syphilis study, which we talked about in the Stranger Things bonus episode, which, by the way, if you didn't hear that Stranger Things bonus episode, maybe think about joining and becoming a member supporting the mission, but I digress. Think about the government lying about the dangers of smoking. Think about stuff like that. Think about the decades of denial regarding the environmental damage caused by industrial and military sites. Think about that. The fictional cigarette smoking man in X Files didn't create the trust deficit. He was a character created to reflect the distrust that was already baked into the American experience. When the government demonstrates a willingness to lie to protect its power, it creates a vacuum where suspicion flourishes. So, if there's one thing that we could take away in part one, the fear of a deep state isn't just paranoia, it is often the direct, logical consequence of proven institutional betrayal. Part two: Secrecy as a system. And like I said, today we're going to focus on the episode Paperclip. A paperclip is a perfect allegory for how truly powerful corruption works. The episode title refers to Operation Paperclip. That's a real historical U.S. program after World War II that brought hundreds of former Nazi scientists to America to work on rocketry and other military projects. Now, the government knew these men were war criminals, but they still brought them here. They gave them new identities and they used their knowledge, all in the name of national security. The corruption here wasn't one guy taking a bribe. It was the system choosing to violate its core moral principles, allowing war criminals to escape justice to maintain its own power and technological edge. Now, this is what we call systemic corruption. Now, in the episode, Mulder and Scully find evidence of this deep conspiracy, discovering a hidden facility and a secret committee, the infamous syndicate. Now, the syndicate is made up of powerful, unaccountable figures in government and industry, and they're not interested in aliens. They are interested in maintaining their control over information. This is the key lesson. Systemic institutional corruption is protected by institutional structure. It's not a few bad apples, it's the structure protecting the bad apples. The paperclip is the bureaucracy that wipes away the ethical stain. It gives the criminal a new identity, and it justifies the moral compromise as necessary for the greater good. You see this same mechanism at work today in high-profile cases where the elite are involved. Think about the long fight for transparency regarding the Epstein files. It's not just about one person committing heinous crimes. It's about the massive network of power, wealth, and legal maneuvering, the modern-day syndicate that worked for decades to shield Epstein and his powerful associates from accountability. It shows you exactly how the most powerful secrets are kept, not by government mandate, but by institutional and financial protection that operates completely outside the view of the general public. So think about a time when a major institution, a corporation, a political body, local school boards, whatever. Think about a time when they covered up a massive failure by protecting the people at the top and sacrificing the truth. What bureaucratic process, like an NDA or a national security classification, was used to justify the secrecy? If you know of some, share them with me on social media or via email. Part 3: The Politics of Conspiracy. Now, let's talk about the political danger of conspiracy theories today, because the system has perfected a defense mechanism, hiding the real conspiracy behind 20 fake ones. In our world, the real institutional corruption, the things that are proven, like regulatory capture, corporate malfeasance, or the historical betrayal of marginalized communities, all of those things are difficult, complex, and they all require work to uncover. Meanwhile, the easily digestible, sensational conspiracy theories, talking about flat earth, microchips and vaccines, lizard people, those are everywhere. The system doesn't invent these, so I'm not going to give them that much credit. But the system allows them to flourish because they serve a purpose. They make the truth sound ridiculous. We see this tactic laid out in actual history of government disinformation. I want to talk a little bit about Paul Benowitz. Now, Paul Benowitz was an electrical physicist in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Not a dumb dude, and this was way back in the 1970s, all right? Now, he lived right near Kirkland Air Force Base, and he was an enthusiast about all things electronics. So he had high-tech gear to observe and record things out there near the Air Force Base. But then he started picking up strange lights and radio signals over the base. Now, he became convinced, rightly or wrongly, that he was spotting UFOs. So, Benowitz did what any citizen concerned about national security would do. He contacted the Air Force. Now, here's where the bamboozling comes in. The government wasn't worried about no aliens. They were worried that Paul Benowitz was seeing something real and classified. There was advanced, top secret aircraft programs they were testing out there, and they were like, he is seeing that. So the Air Force, specifically an intelligence officer named Richard Doty, didn't issue a denial. They didn't say, sir, that was a weather balloon. They launched a full-scale, active disinformation campaign against one man, known internally as, I think it was Project Beta, but think about that for a minute. They used the power of the federal government, our tax dollars, to engage in psychological warfare against an American citizen. They started feeding Paul Benowitz with fake, elaborately detailed information, talking about secret underground alien bases, a war with extraterrestrials called the Dulce War, and even convincing a civilian researcher to act as an agent to pass Benowitz fabricated documents and track his mental state. They took what was likely a true observation of classified U.S. military technology and buried it under layers of spectacular alien nonsense. And why? Because if Benowitz, a man who saw actual secret things, sounded like a lunatic, ranting and raving about lizard people and aliens, then no one would ever look for the real secret. The ultimate tragic cost of that? The pressure and the deluge of lies caused Paul Benowitz to suffer a severe mental breakdown that required him to be hospitalized in a psychiatric unit. This is the power of the lie. It's not just about fooling you. It's about weaponizing sensationalism to discredit the truth teller and protect institutional secrecy. It is the perfect defense against accountability. So Mulder and Scully teach us the difference between healthy skepticism and paralyzing paranoia. Scully's path is skepticism. Her path demands data, documentation, and it also focuses on verifiable evidence, even if that evidence leads to uncomfortable truths. It means following the money and reading the policy, even when it's boring. Even if you don't want to face it, at least you have all of the facts backing it up. For instance, Bill Clinton is in the Epstein files. It's a foregone conclusion. Bill Clinton is in the Epstein files. Now, there's also paranoia, and that is the system's goal. The system demands a simple, all-encompassing answer, like aliens or lizard people. That answer usually ends in inaction because you think the conspiracy is far too powerful to fight. So, paranoia is the Epstein files are a hoax. That is paranoia. Paranoia is usually covering for something else, right? For instance, Trump is in the Epstein files. So, the hope in this situation lies in becoming a skeptic, not a paranoid. We must focus on the proven lies and the verifiable secrets and channel our energy towards demanding transparency on the complex truth, even when it's much easier to rage against the latest simple lie. Find real power when we choose to focus on the things that we know are true and the actions that we absolutely can take, instead of getting wrapped up in conspiracy theories and things that we have no real evidence of. The X-Files offered one essential message: the truth is worth the fight. Our job as citizens is to take the spirit of Mulder and Scully, that relentless pursuit of facts, and apply it to our communities. We have to support real investigative journalism. We need to refuse to accept national security or corporate privacy or any of that other BS as an excuse for secrecy that hurts the public. We have to demand documentation, which is why we continuously scream about the Epstein files, right? The political system relies on you getting tired, confused, and settling for the easy conspiracy, the easy answer. Sometimes we have to choose the hard road, y'all. We have to demand clarity, demand accountability from the powers that be, even if you like them. So thank you for joining me today on this deep dive into institutional corruption. Today's episode officially concludes the main 4 episodes of our classic TV deep dives arc. This will be your heads up. I am taking 2 planned weeks off after this episode drops, so I can get ahead on writing and research for the next big arc of episodes. But don't worry, if you remember, the arc is not over, baby. You'll have access to an exclusive bonus episode next week, diving into an episode of MASH called Dear Dad, which is all about finding community and humor in the face of chaos. So if you want that extra lesson, you know where to find the link to subscribe. Now, if you want a deeper dive, the historical analysis, the articles on government secrecy, and the tools to resist ideological loyalty tests, join a community for my Thursday newsletter drop. You can find the link to subscribe in the show notes. You can also connect with me on Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, at Culture First Always, so we can keep on building this community together. Because per usual, it's Culture First, Democracy Always. I hope this episode gave you a new way to look at the stories around you. It's so easy to feel alone in this work, but remember, there's a whole community of grown folks out here connecting the dots. If you're not already subscribed, my newsletter drops every Thursday. and provides a deeper look at these themes. It's like an email from a friend who's just a little obsessed with connecting culture and politics. You can find the link in the show notes. And also, let's connect on social media too. I'm on Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram, and I just love continuing these conversations with you all throughout the week. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday for the next episode. And I'm Tasha Pierce. Culture first, democracy always. I hope this episode gave you a new way to look at the stories around you. It's so easy to feel alone in this work, but remember, there's a whole community of grown folks out here connecting the dots. If you're not already subscribed, my newsletter drops every Thursday and provides a deeper look at these themes. It's like an email from a friend who's just a little obsessed with connecting culture and politics. You can find the link in the show notes. And also, let's connect on social media too. I'm on Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram, and I just love continuing these conversations with you all throughout the week. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday for the next episode. And I'm Tasha Pierce. Culture first, democracy always.